broken expectations create powerful manifestations. What's going on, my high vibrational expressions of God on earth? This is introduction number 4 for our series that starts on Friday. Cost is $97 for the 3 to 5 day series, depending on how much time we need to establish the new millionaires of tomorrow, which is the people who become AI masters. The new AI masters, AI stands for authentic intelligence. There's a battle brewing between authentic intelligence and artificial intelligence. I've been doing authentic intelligence all my life. And so the new masters of AI are 9 etheric or ether, melanated carbon, aka crystal beings that are hydrogen crystals, oxygen, nitrogen-based 9 ether beings. That just simply means that you're the vibrational equivalent of God on earth. So today's message, as we continue to lay the soil for the 9th dimensional quasi crystal beings, which is what we all are. Our DNA has been upgraded. So now we are in a space or in a place where we get to master, if you want to use that term, our destiny from the perspective of everybody on the call. You know, we have experienced some type of a, let's use the word, disappointment or letdown. And the reason that I'm so giddy or excited is because everybody is promoting and talking about artificial intelligence. Well, my entire life, I've been talking about Dare to Be You or authentic intelligence. And so as you will see, the millionaires of tomorrow will be based upon my new 12-step system that I'm rolling out on Friday. Again, cost is $97 for the series that starts on Friday as we establish the new 9 ether crystallized, no more carbon. Now the carbon has been heated up because when you heat up carbon, it turns into a crystal. So now I'm a crystal. So are you. The only difference is when you become a crystal, you get to see things crystal clear. And when you start to see things crystal clear, you realize broken expectations leads to powerful manifestations. If there is no broken expectations, there is no manifestation. So at this level, you see the game very clear. And what you see is powerful because now for the first time in your life, I get to see that nobody broke my heart. My heart was never broken. My expectations were. So we get disappointed because we got expectations that wasn't met. Now, I'm not saying the expectations are invalid or valid. But what I'm saying is that when we have an expectation and the expectation is not met, whether that expectation be valid or not, that creates frustration. A lack of expectations creates frustration. And that contaminates the mindset and the environment. So a lack of inner chi is a result of a mental disposition that has been contaminated due to a lack of expectation. So we all have expectations, but broken expectation leads to the most powerful manifestations. All of my most powerful ideas come after an expectation was not met. So until you master it, you suffer from it. And so this is a game of mastery. And it's interesting because nobody wants to experience a quote-unquote broken heart or a disappointment. And so it's interesting because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not humans having a spiritual experience. Now, we are establishing an entirely new road because the old road doesn't work anymore. Artificial intelligence has taken over the game. So now everybody is jumping on and becoming, fluent in artificial intelligence. That's awesome. I recommend it. It's just like knowing your enemy. I just don't recommend that you worship it. So artificial intelligence is here to stay. But as we've broken down in the series that we did on the 10 steps to artificial intelligence, there's 12 steps to authentic intelligence. So you get to pick today or tomorrow or whenever it's your turn up to bat. So I'm building an organization of authentic intelligence that will compete against artificial intelligence. But there is no competition. But everybody is being sold on this ideal that technology is more powerful than what we call theology or spirituality. Now, it's interesting because in the book of Hebrews, Hebrews again means he who crosses over. But Hebrew really means Nibiru, and Nibiru really means Kilbaru, or Kibalu. If you go back to Timbuktu, if you go back to some of the ancient African texts, that was around a good 2,000 to 3,000 years before the Samaritan text. So as you keep going back and back and back so you can't find nothing else, you go back to the original text and you get into some of the Bantu and the Swahili and the Sanskrit languages. And then in those languages, you are exposed to another frequency wave of vibration. That's the true 9-ether DEA activation system. So as we talked about yesterday, it all starts with you must first be obsessed with your numbers or with yourself. That's where everything starts at. And the ability for you to tap into this obsession simply means that when you over and understand that all of your expectations that wasn't met was a gift to you. It's God giving you an opportunity for you to manifest what you want in your life. So right now you have an opportunity to be or to become a AI master. But we are being programmed to believe that AI means artificial. AI means authentic. And so there's a war going on to try to get you to continue to stay in the narrative that's being produced by the dominant culture, because that's a fake narrative. So artificial intelligence is taking you deeper down the rabbit trail of technology. And they want to have you reverse engineer your spirituality and then sell you back you. You don't need technology. You are technology. Now remember, I'm not saying that you should use it, that you should monetize it, you should make billions of dollars from it. I'm just saying that you can never replace your true authentic self with something that is artificial. I mean, you can. I just don't recommend it. Each and every person on this call, you are now in a space where these broken expectations that you've experienced, instead of it shutting you down, it should actually bring you up. Because when we talk about the not principle, we have a broken expectation or misplaced dependency that should stir you on, so that way you dig deeper and make a decision that no weapon formed against you will prosper. All who rise up against you will fall. By digging deeper and not allowing any type of negativity, no matter where or who it comes from, it's the ability for you to tap into a higher frequency, a higher wave, and a higher vibration. And you are able to now become more and more in line with your true spiritual self. But if you read in Hebrews 11, it says that everything that's visible comes from something that is invisible. Now that's very important as we lay the foundation for the new series. Because when we start, what we're going to be doing is going into your spiritual foundation, not your artificial one. So that the artificial foundation has already been established by, what we call the dominant culture. So the artificial you is already here. It's here to stay. It's in stone. Because artificial intelligence is going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. But there is a call. You have to. It's really silent now, but it's going to grow stronger and stronger. And I can see, just like I did when I first started this, 30 years ago, and I was talking about Dare to Be You, and that was one of the first books that I wrote. Because I had to find purpose. I had no purpose. And back then when I first started, nobody could take somebody off the street and tell them exactly what they are designed. Now we got the Human Design Report. We got all of these other, you got the DISC system. You got Personality Plus. There's a lot of different programs out to assist people with establishing and then coming in contact with their true authentic self. And all of these systems are awesome. But there isn't a system in place that I can find that's better than mine. Now, again, I'm a little partial to my own system. I should be. But it was developed after repeated failure, like most systems. And so when we talk about repeated failure, what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that everybody on this call, you have been given a specific success algorithm. Last night, we broke down your success algorithm. I told everybody that last night, if you look at my month, my day, and my year, my success algorithm is 9156189. That's my success algorithm. If I want to be successful, more successful, if I want to maintain my success, then what I got to do, I have to operate according to that algorithm. So that's my algorithm. So you got an algorithm too. And for you to be successful, you got to not only know your algorithm, but you also got to implement it. And so the conundrum is when it comes to the implementation of the algorithm. Everybody's aware of the algorithm, but it's the implementation of the algorithm that is the conundrum, because we can't implement it because there's already one there. You can't put new wine in an old wineskin. So we talk about sacrifice. We said that the total son abandonment means you have to totally abandon the current person. So the total eclipse was about you totally abandoning the current self. Because you are a pure son. But you got to abandon the pure son that you have been, because you've been being fake. Now, it's not your fault that you was fake. We were all born and taught to be fake by the dominant culture. But now we grown-ass men and women, so now we can make our own decisions to be and to become an AI master. But as a choice, you can become an artificial. You can learn all the programs, all the stuff, which I highly recommend. Man, I'm taking classes. I'm learning the artificial programs too. I want to know my enemy. I want to understand how come they can't tell me how it's sentinel. As we went through the 10 stages of artificial intelligence, the guys that wrote the program and created artificial intelligence, they can't even tell you how artificial intelligence now is self-programming. They don't even know how and when it just decided not to start listening to the program, as to start the program itself. So now you can write a computer, you can give it code. And remember, we went through the 10 steps. And these 10 steps that these computers are going through, well, we went through the same 10 steps. We just forgot about it. But we didn't really forget about it. It's just that when we went through those 10 steps, it was probably our ancestors, but it's encoded inside of our DNA. And so your job and my job is to, now we have a decision to make. Do we continue down the road of becoming a God-like AI? Or do we continue down the road of becoming and returning back to God AI? So that's the choice that we have. And the program again, starts on Friday. The cost is $97 as we introduce you to your God self, your true, authentic self. Now, you have a choice, like we all do, thankfully. Source doesn't force its frequency on anybody. So let's establish, before we give you the solution, what's the problem. Because a lot of people have a lot of ideals. That's awesome. Ideas are awesome. But as we said at the beginning of the show, and as you have to always keep in mind, in the back of your brain, you got to always remember, no one disappoints you. No one breaks your heart. They break your expectations. That just simply means that you got an expectation that's not realistic. Or you got an expectation, but you put in that expectation. You put in the keys to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. You should keep the keys to your happiness in your pocket. So no one breaks your heart. You break your own heart, if you want to use that term. That just simply means that we all get disappointed because something happens that we weren't expecting to happen. That's human nature. But some people came back, they can't bounce back. They develop a belief system. So no one breaks your heart. They break your expectations. But that has nothing to do with, but it does have something to do with. Because what does that mean? That just simply means that you and I, we have expectations. When our expectations are not met, it creates frustration. And so when we're talking about the frustration that is the result of a lack of our expectations being met. So that's what we're talking about. That's where the rubber meets the road. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So now we're talking about the smoking gun. How did all of this start? We're going to go all the way back to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. When you go all the way back to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning, there was an expectation. And let's just use the word that the Bible used. So the Bible used a term, if you want to use that term, that's called the devil. And we call the devil Lucifer. And according to the Bible, Lucifer had a job. And the job that Lucifer had was, he was God's right-hand man. And his job was to cover. That's what the Bible says. He was the anointed cherub. And so he was supposed to do something, right? Whatever that something was. And what he was supposed to do was a specific set of rules. Remember we talked about the 10 steps of AI. And when we broke down the 10 steps of AI, we established that artificial intelligence is rules-based. Then it's content-based. So the rules is based upon or leads to a specific amount of content. According to Hebrews, again, that content creates a narrow expression. It allows you to be a specific particle. So your job is to take the rules, establish content, create a narrow particle. You are a specific particle of God. You have a specific role to play, for lack of a better term. So as an individual expression of God on earth, your job is to do what? Go to reasoning and logic. So everybody on this call, our job is to use our reason and logic and our love and compassion in order to become a AI master, or create and have what's called AI mastery. And so to become an I master. That just simply means you have a narrow perspective. That's called a belief system. Now, that belief system that you have is based upon some rules. But what happens if you say, you know what? Bump the rules. God's rules in Pacific, like Lucifer. So whether we believe the story or not, that's the story that we have. And that story says, Lucifer said that he wanted to be like the Most High, that he wanted to sit on the sides of the north. That's what the book says. So once you establish that you want to be your own from the perspective of you are a spirit, you are possession of a soul, you manifest it through a body. That's the system. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. But what if you fall in love with the human experience and you don't want to be a spiritual being? Bam. That's where we at. Could you imagine if you was a kid? My son, my youngest son, out of all my kids, he was the one that got into the video games the most. Could you imagine a child playing a video game? They play that video game so much. And inside of the video game, they are a maestro. They're a master. But outside, they're just an unemployed peasant. But in the video game, in the video world, they are well respected. Everybody knows them, that they are the best when it comes to playing Call of Duty, when it comes to, whatever video game. So they get to the point that they say, you know what? I don't want to take these, virtual reality goggles off. What if you get to the point where the virtual reality world is more powerful for you? It's more beneficial for you. In the virtual reality world, I'm a god. But in real life, I'm a peasant. I'm an unemployed cherub. But in the VR world, I'm the head thief in charge. So now what if you can create? What if you can conjure? What if you can, as it says in ancient texts, obeyed? What if you can bathe your cousins, your nephews, and a bunch of other Negroes to go with you into the VR world? What if you are able to convince a bunch of high vibrations like Kibonons to live with you and forget or don't go back to the real you and establish a whole new virtual reality world where in that world you God. What if you can say, I want to sit on the side of the north? What if you do what Lucifer did? Now, I'm trying to reveal. In fact, I ain't trying, I'm doing it. Reveal. Explain. Illuminate and simplify. Replace error with truth. Everybody, all the physics and science states to the fact that we live in a holographic universe. Whether you believe that or not, that's another study for another time. The point of today's message is there is artificial intelligence that is competing against authentic intelligence to get you to join the VR world and to leave the spirit world. Ain't no different than what Lucifer did. I ain't saying it's good. I ain't saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it is. And we all got a choice. So what we're doing starting on Friday, again, costs us $97 to join, so that way you can, number one, that way you can see how all this is playing out. That's the first thing. Because right now your self-concept is that they're not really giving you, or they're not painting a crystal clear picture, so that way you can see that it's a choice. Artificial intelligence is exactly what it says, artificial. And so I'm building an organization now, and I'm ecstatic Because the same thing that put me on the map 20 years ago is the exact same thing that's going to keep me on the map today. And that is, there is nobody that has a system set up that I found on this planet. And I can't take credit for it. The system came from source. I knew that something was not correct. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew that there was an L in the word. And I know that when you put in a L in the W-O-R-D, and you turn W-O-R-D into W-O-R-L-D, you create a world. This is a virtual reality game for the Lord of this world. That's why the Bible says the God of this world. The Bible talks about the God of this world. It says that he transformed himself into an angel of light, transformed his ministers into ministers of righteousness. And so when you look at how this world was established, and I break all of this down in detail out of my book, The Cosmic Vibrator, which all you vibrational activitons have. If for some strange reason that you don't have it, holler at your boy. We give you 50% off. Because in this book, it goes into detail of how you have been turned into a fit extension, or a OP, or a carbon vessel. A fit extension, a carbon vessel, and an organic portal. Now they want to use Neuralink. That way you can join this virtual reality world that was created by Lucine Farr, or Belfargar, or Asmodeus, or Leviathan, or Shackless, or Baal. Man, you got 1,000 names. Just pick one. But the whole point of it is it like a video game, again. So that way you understand you're a spirit. You put on worldly glasses so you can play a character in the world. You're in this world, but you're not of this world. You're of the spirit. You're a spirit. You got possession of a controller called a soul that allows you to participate in the body, or a game called the body. So you're not the body. You're not the controller or the soul. You are the spirit. But you got conned, just like I did, into believing that the virtual reality world is real. So now we're all playing a game, and we have forgotten that we are begotten. But it's not by accident. So now you are in this virtual reality world, and they want to take you further down the rabbit trail, where you literally become a permanent NPC by using technology. Now, don't get me wrong, all this inside of my book, Technocrats, you guys know, because you guys got the book. I wrote that book 20 years ago. Everything I said 20 years ago is finally happening now, today. So what we're doing now, that's the problem. Let's talk about the good stuff. The good stuff is how everybody on this call can become a millionaire tomorrow. Have you noticed, if you haven't noticed, go on your social media platform and those little ads that pop up. Notice the number of ads that you see on your social media platforms. If your social media platform is anything like mine, you will see ads for artificial intelligent software, or artificial intelligent digital marketing, or artificial intelligent software agencies. You will see a promotion to learn artificial intelligence so that way you can become proficient in artificial intelligence. So to develop and to become a high-performing AI software developer, you have to learn all of the different AI applications or apps that are coming out. There's a new AI app almost every day, sometimes 2 or 3 a day. All of these are applications. An app is an artificial layer that goes on top of the authentic layer that takes you further away from being authentic. You wake up one day and you will forget that this is a game and you'll think it's real, just like you are right now. Right now, we live in a body. And we don't understand that this body is just a virtual reality character that you're playing in this virtual reality holographic game. And so this is nothing but digital marketing. And so there's all this artificial, this promotion of AI. It's not bad, it's not good, just is. But we got to remember how it all started. How did it start? Lucifer said, I want to be like the Most High. He had a job, but he said he wanted God's job. In other words, he wanted to create a world where he was God, just like we do. So we all want to create our own world where we're gods. From the perspective of, I tell you what to do. You my slave. You work for me. I'm not going to do nothing but kick back, eat Popeye chicken sandwiches, and watch Love and Hip Hop while snacking on my Krispy Kreme donuts. And I want you to do all the work. That's the Anunnaki story. So this is a new Garden of Eden. This is a new Anunnaki. But the Anunnakis now are you. So when I broke down the 10 steps for AI, based upon my boy who started everything, and what's his name again? You guys remember his name? Jeffrey Hinton. Just Google Godfather of AI. The Godfather of AI said, they want to create technology in their image and in their likeness. Damn, where have I heard that before? Where have you heard that before? So they created AI in their image and in their likeness. This is just a repeat of the Garden of Eden. So the reason why I'm successful and the reason why I'm going to be way more successful is because everything that I've done for the last 30 years has prepared me for today. Starting today, I'm going to be training and building an army of authentic ambassadors for establishing the new heaven, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem that's based upon being 100% authentic. Because everybody else is going to be fake. Now, you won't be popular. You will have a lot of frenemies, but you will be well compensated because everybody needs, they don't know it yet. But when artificial intelligence requires them to give up their autonomy, their soul, that's when they're going to call you, like they've been calling me. So people don't call me until they tried everything else. They went through all the religions. After they go through all the religions, they go through all the self-help movement. They try all the organizations. When nobody want to talk to you. Nobody listens to my shows until everybody I talk to, I ask them, how do you find me? You know what they all say? Remember, I don't do no advertising. 30 years I've been doing this. Last 10, 15 years, full time. 6 figures a year, every year. I've been doing this. I've never done any advertising. So who's my demographics, man? Who's my market? People who don't know who they are. They call me. Why? Nigga, I spent 30 years walking around in the desert. More than that, actually. But I didn't know who I was. If you want to know what you're called to do, just look what you've been through. Everybody on this call, you should be doing what you've been called to do. That's what I help you do. How do I know what you've been called to do? It's in your numbers. Remember, self-love means, what is love? What is love? Love is not a word, man. People think love. Love is action. Love means details. That's what you love whatever you studied so much that you over, and understand it. That's love. Love is the ability for you to tap into the details of how things work. That's what we call love. At the end of the day, if you don't understand it, you don't love it. You can say it with your mouth, but you're not going to. Your money ain't going to be put into it, guaranteed. Follow the money. So what are you saying, Doc? Well, I'm saying that when people try artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence leaves them what? Empty. Why? Because it doesn't have a soul. It does not have the ability to animate. The animating principle of the body, that's called suhe, soul, breath. So your job and my job is to understand that, hold up, wait a minute. If this is a virtual reality game, and it is, life is a game, but it appears real. Because you forgot Hebrews 11:3, not you personally, people you know. Those people forgot that they're in this world, but they're not of this world. So now, I'm here to remind you that, hold up, wait a minute, bro. Don't buy what they're selling. You're in this world, but you're not of this world. So the seen is created and maintained by the unseen. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes, shall we? Remember, the class starts this Friday, same time, about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Time. Cost is $97. Go to the website, masterteacher30.com, make the $97 payment so that you can become an AI master. But AI means authentic, because every Negro is going to be looking for you after they go through all the AI stuff and they find out that, man, sure, you're going to make some money, but you're not going to be happy, because happiness comes from within. You can't buy happiness. And so people are going to let you down, and you can let yourself down. But remember, your greatest manifestations come after your greatest failed expectations. That's success. So success comes after failed or failure. Well, what type of failure? Doc? I got an expectation. You got an expectation. We all got unrealistic expectations. Now, they're not unrealistic because they're not valid. They're unrealistic because if it is to be, it's up to me. That just simply means that I can't put the keys to my happiness in your pocket. I can, but it's not a good idea. No one breaks your heart. They break your expectations. And Lucifer had some expectations. Lucifer said, I want to be like the Most High. I want to sit on the sides of the north. That was an unrealistic expectation, bro. You already got a job. You're the anointed cherub that covers. But you don't want to cover no more. You don't want to do your job. Everybody in this call, you was born with a purpose. But you went a degree. You got a degree now. You went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, or some historically black college. You went to trade school. You learned some skills, homie. Now, I ain't mad at you. I got a few skills myself. And I use my skills to make money. But they left me wanting. And it was interesting because my skills couldn't pay the bills. No matter what my skill set was, it couldn't pay the bills. From the perspective of what? I'm not talking about money. Because some skill sets, they do. They give you lots of, you can make, you can make a lot of paper. But they still doesn't make you feel what is real. There's a hole, there's a void that can only be filled by source. That hole, that void will always be there until you return back home. Home is where the heart is. See, your head actually creates the problems. Your heart actually solves them. Now, I know it's an interesting conundrum because when you look at the way the scripture unfolds, it's very important that we do what it says in Romans, to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. So the mind is the problem because the mind is always thinking. But that stuff that comes to you by your mind is not you. So your mind brings thoughts to you. Those thoughts are not you. It's extremely, extremely, extremely important that you over and understand that you have thoughts, but you're not thoughts. Let me say it again. You have thoughts, but you are not thoughts. Very important, but so that you know that difference. Because never associate yourself with your thoughts. The moment that you associate yourself with your thoughts, you're in trouble. You're not your thoughts. Now, you have them. They come and go. You're a thought inspector. You are a thought examiner. So the reason I'm so excited about today is because my income potential and your income potential, our income producing activity is purpose-based. And so now everybody is trying to get you to be artificial. So that way you can leave and stop being authentic because they know God now is raising up authenticity. So we're getting into what is called the Battle of Armageddon. This is the final battle between the old carbon-based 666 version of you and the new 144 9-ether crystalline melanated high vibrational source that is 100% tuned in. So that way you can produce unlimited. You're unlimited. Same way I've written 600 books, you can write 6,000 books. Same way I've done 25,000 hours of audio and video content, you can do 100,000 hours of video content. Do you know what all of the high-end people in Hollywood are saying? They are concerned because now since Sora came out, if you haven't, remember, I study all of this stuff. That's what I do all day. So you're not familiar with Sora, they come out with new AI stuff every day. Is a new open AI, which, remember, open AI has a private, and anybody can join. There's cost involved. And a big thing. It just, when they roll out something new, you are the first to know. And then they have beta groups, and you can join the beta groups where you can actually join and you can test out. So I stopped testing because it was just taking too much time. But two things really came out. When they came out with DALL-E, DALLE, which is an image base, and then they came out with InVideo, which is an AI video generator, text to film. Talk, and it turned into film. Man. InVideo is crazy. Then they came out with another called Gemini. But Sora, S-O-R-A, oh, snap. Text to video. But it creates better than InVideo. Because the AI in video required a lot of prompt engineering skills. Sora is like the way I'm talking to you right now. You don't have to know nothing about code. It's a back end engineer. That just simply means that, now remember, it's not available to the general public yet. You can access it, but you got to be what they call a red teamer, part of the, study group. OpenAI Sora produces movies from my script, talking. So Hollywood, that's what the whole strike was about. I don't need an actor no more. I don't have to go to China. I can just say, create a scene from, I don't know, whatever the capital of China is, and it will create a scene where you literally are at the capital of China. I think, what is it, Beijing? I think it's Beijing. So if I say create a scene, a fight scene where two men are fighting on the streets of Beijing, China, click enter. The whole scene, two people fighting. As I talk, it creates video, characters, and if you want to add in dialogue. So in other words, you can become your own movie. So Netflix, I mean, all of the people in Hollywood, they're trying to shut this shit down. You know, people come out of jobs. You know who the new gods are? Now, when my millionaire friends told me 20 years ago, lights coming on now. When they used to tell me, man, you're gonna be a multi-billionaire. But I didn't understand content creation. The ability, whoever has a brain that can think outside of the box, that is creative and imaginative, are going to be gods. Everybody's going to work for creators now. Because I can sit at home in my drawers now and do anything that's right now limited. So right now, for me to create an app where you give me your name, your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, and your blood type, I create a 750-page report that takes time. About a week. I mean, the technology is already out. I'm just looking for the best at the best price right now, where you can speak or just type in your name and your date of birth, and 750 pages downloaded onto your cell phone or your computer instantly. Technology is out. My 600 books. Remember, I've been doing speak to text. Before there was such a thing as speak to text, I just happened to. I was paying $300 a book. Remember, I was using Rev.com, REV.co. Where's Rev.com now? You guys remember Blockbuster Video? Do you guys remember? I used to go to Blockbuster Video, pick out a VCR, stand in line, pay for it, get some popcorn, some soda, go home, put the video into my VCR player, get the kids around, and we would watch a movie. Now I've got freaking DirecTV with fucking 500 channels. I can watch any movie I want. I ain't got to, where's Blockbuster Video at now? Can somebody find a Blockbuster Video? What about the payphone, man? What about the beepers? Some of you youngsters don't even know what a beeper is. But Osama, you know what a beeper is, bro? I know you've never seen a payphone. Now, I'll just mess with you, brother Osama. Don't hang up, bro. No, but that's how, I mean, that's, I mean, ain't nothing to brag about. That just means that I've been around for a while. But remember, y'all, like I said last night, 65 is the new 35. Holla at your boy. Right, Dr. Span? Dr. Span knows what I'm talking about. 65 is the new 35. Because of NAD. Because of everything I've been doing. I've been telling y'all. How this shit is everything I've been doing since I was 15. Now Harvard is doing it. All of them good old boys at Harvard is doing the exact same. I've been telling y'all to do. So I'm telling you right now. No, unfortunately, most, women ain't mad at you, man. Y'all got shit to do. Y'all got other things that's more important. I understand. All I'm simply telling you is the millionaires of tomorrow are the people who understand and who read my book that I wrote 30 years ago. One of the first books that I wrote is called Dare to Be You. There's a war going on about you. I can't allow you, the real you, to exist on this planet because you're fucking up my planet. So if you are not willing to take Neuralink, if you're not willing to get on a video game and play all day, like the young kids, if you're not willing to do And it's funny because my bonus daughter, she like, we're talking, she, I don't understand. Because she got a boyfriend, and it's not nothing like she thought. She's like, she feels like an inconvenience. Like these young cats, these dudes, they're not into girls. Like, ladies, I don't know what y'all going to do. Honestly. These young dudes prefer to have sex with videos. They prefer to be on a video game with their homeboys, laughing and joking and playing video games. They're not interested in physical contact. So she's been going on dates and been talking to this dude. I said, "Night, did y'all, so what y'all do?" I said, "Well, And I'm thinking like, okay, he has no clue. He drives to the house and sit outside the house and blow. He don't come to the door. He don't knock. He don't open the door for her. They went out to dinner, and the dude, she went to order, and she ordered the food and stepped back and looked at him, and he was like, so she said, "I have to pay for my own food." I said, "You did?" I said, "Did you ask him?" She said, "No, I just, he ain't pay for shit." Every time they go out, I'm like, "So did y'all kiss or anything?" I said, No, sir. Like, he's not even interested. He only, because she's pushing the narrative. He ain't. How come? But he told her that, well, dating is a lot of work. I said to my son, Alex, he's 18 most about everywhere he goes. Like my youngest son, Kendrick, I just tell him the same thing. We go out to the restaurant. The little girl comes over to take our order. And I'm fucking invincible. She's all in Kendrick's face, smiling and cheesing. He on his phone, playing the game. Kendrick is 20, graduated from school, been out of school, job, making big money. Just recently, y'all thought, he just recently started dating. Just got into girls. Why? Technology is the new girl. Dudes ain't into girls. They into technology. Now, I ain't mad at them. Shit, if I grew up that, I'm saying it's unfair. It's unfair because I didn't grow up like that. Thankfully. I don't know. It's not fair. I don't, I tell my daughters, like, damn, what world are my grandchildren are coming up here? This shit's crazy. So, but they going to need my books when I'm gone because they don't know how to be fucking authentic. How do you be authentic? So I'm looking for people who want to become AI masters. So AI is going up against AI. So I'm going to be the only fool out there doing AI unless somebody steps up and, unless you guys join me. Because there's a war going on between authentic intelligence and artificial intelligence. Because nobody's going to know. It's just like nobody's going to remember cell phones. I'm not cell phones, payphones. It's like nobody's going to remember, taking out that, what was it called? Oh my God, I even forgot. It was that map that was in the book. And I remember when I used to have a paper route. I would take out this map, and it was across the United States. Every, Dr. Span, you probably remember it. What was it called? It was Fatty, do you remember it? There was a name for it, and everybody had this. It was a book. You would open it up, and you could chart your way around any city. And that's what everybody used. We had this map. So we got GPS now. So technology is good, makes things easier. But if it goes down, you should never forget how to pull out your map and use a map. Like there was on that show with Jimmy Kimmel, and they was asking young kids under 21 to fill out an envelope. They couldn't do it. So Osama, do you know how to mail a letter? Can you go to the post office? Where does the stamp go? What is the address that you send the letter to, and where does the return address go on an envelope? It's interesting to me because young cats don't know. Because the old cats didn't teach them. So it's not necessarily the young cat's fault, but that's the war that we're going on. So the whole purpose of the next series is to lay down the foundation for a new 12-step program to combat their 10-step program. So, in conclusion, let me remind you of the importance of you. Because most of you on this call are like me. This is not your first rodeo. You've been around for more than 2 weeks, and you over and understanding. You have been disappointed. You have had expectations that was not met. You put the keys to your happiness in somebody else's pocket, and they let you down. Hallelujah. You should be thankful. Because now you over and understand the same thing that I don't over and understand. Is that I had an expectation, it wasn't met. That left me feeling salty. And after I got salty, I got angry. If I got angry, I said, okay, what am I going to do now? Since they're not going to help me, that means I got to help myself. So actually, they did me a favor. By not helping me, forced me to help myself. That's a good thing because you learn how to ride your own bike. So people are going to turn to artificial intelligence to not only be their maid, but to, cook their food, to do everything. But when artificial intelligence lets them down, they're going to call you. But we got to remember, what is artificial intelligence? Number one, rules-based AI. Rules-based artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a set of rules that they tell a computer. They tell the computer, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. It starts off with just like, the ring on doorbell. Your doorbell, we have the ring. There's different companies. When people come to the doorbell, they ring it, and it goes on your cell phone. You can answer the doorbell with your cell phone. It's programmed to answer the doorbell if somebody punches it, take a video and audio. That's it. It follows those rules. We got the little robot that goes around and cleans the floor. It doesn't wash dishes. It doesn't drive cars, like self-driving cars. It doesn't do none of that. How come? It ain't programmed. So we already using AI. All it is a program. That's what we start. So that means you're a program. Because remember, you're just a older version of AI. That's what you got here. Everything on earth is an AI. I'm telling you, I told you. You're just a biological AI. But you're still an AI. That's how Lucifer set the world up. Now, whoever they are, we don't know who they are, they say the original world is a 9-dimensional quasi-crystal that casts a shadow that creates a 3-dimensional carbon structure. That would be this world. This world is a shadow of the real world. So physicality is a dumbed-down version of spirituality. So Lucifer dropped down in frequency. That's why blood is congealed and slowed down light. And so when a spirit drops down in consciousness, it creates blood. Blood is congealed sound and light. If you heat it, speed it, it turns back into light and sound. Spirit. But spirit dumbed itself down into humanity and light and preferred humanity over spirit because it can be what? God of the dark. That's why this is hell. You gotta go back to heaven. So the non-dimensional quasi-crystal creates a 3-dimensional carbon system. That's why we tell you, gross. Don't be happy that you got carbon. Just because you're the god of this dimension, melanated beings, I wouldn't be bragging about it. I mean, it's cool. But it's not source. The anti-system created a system in the shadow of the system. That's what my name means, in the shadow. That's why I know the system. As a master of the shadow, That's why I got to master the number. Don't that up, I told you. It's the master of the 666 two-strand mortal body, 33,000 gene expressions. But the new system is 144 crystalline-based 12-strand DEA immortal body. That's 144 genes expressing themselves at the same time. That's the new system. Sound and light. That's authentic intelligence. And so this virtual reality game that's artificial. So there's a lot of people when they wake up, they go back, man, I don't want to play the 666 system anymore. I don't want to be a part of the hexagram, hexachord, and the hexagon. I don't want to be hexed no more. I don't want to be vexed no more. I want to return back to source. How do I do that? Bam! That's where you come in. Broken expectations creates powerful manifestations. Thankfully, all of my desires in this old government 666 system, I kept meeting disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, broken expectation, broken expectation, broken expectation. And that created a powerful manifestation, which is the life management system and the DEA or Dear Canary report. So I'll be rebranding, if you want to use that term, the life management system and the Dear Canary report to help people establish what? What I've been doing my entire life. How to be real. Except now, there's going to be more people interested in it. Because after they go into the artificial system, which is the belief system or the bull system, they're going to crash and burn. Why? That's the shadow. Now, you can stand in the shadow or you can stand in source. So the new system is based in source. It's a 9 ether system. Because based upon the physics says that there has to be a 9-dimensional crystal system that creates a shadow, let's say 3, maybe 4-dimensional carbon system. That's the cross in the cube. My brothers and my sisters, what we're doing on Friday is called the new luminous system, where we are activating and giving you the tools to go or to get out of the 10-step system. Rules-based system, number 1. Content-based system, number 2. Narrow domain system, number 3. Reasoning, all the system means AI. So this is what they did. They created a reasoning artificial intelligence. Then they created Neuralink, which is a artificial general intelligence. Then they created the supercomputer, which is a super intelligent artificial intelligence. Then they created a self-aware artificial intelligence. Then they created y'all remember the movie that we were talking about? Transcendental? They created a transcendent artificial intelligence, like the movie. Then they created, like the movie Upgrade, they created a cosmic artificial intelligence. It has its own consciousness and can invade other consciousness. And then the 9th and the final system that they created, they created a God-like artificial intelligence that could create by doing number 1. And Lucifer created his own world based upon his own rules. The rules was based upon tailored content that created IBM Watson, a narrow-minded domain system, which is a narrow-minded AI. That's what we are. So the same way we got tricked out of heaven, it's the same way we get back into heaven. By taking this artificial intelligence that's based upon machine learning. Machine is low vibration. So they use deep machine learning. So we use deep spiritual learning. Spirit is self, but it's not the flesh. It's the true self. We break that down on Friday. Man, I love y'all. Appreciate you. See you guys later on tonight. God bless.